Let's take a look at the capabilities and benefits of advanced triggering and InfiniiScan, which are standard and optional features on our next generation Infiniium EXR, MXR, and UXR series oscilloscopes. Triggering is the most critical, but often the least understood, function of an oscilloscope. It's the trigger's job to provide you with a stable frame of reference, so that you can see how your signals change in relation to themselves and in relation to each other. Another great use of triggers is hunting for fault conditions, so make sure to watch the video on our Fault Hunter feature to learn more about how the oscilloscope can do some of the hard work for you. But sometimes you need to set those triggers up yourself. So let's take a quick tour of the trigger menu and also look at an optional feature called InfiniiScan that lets you set up complex 3-stage triggers with maximum flexibility. In the trigger menu, you're going to see a variety of options, so let's start with setup. From here, you can select your trigger type, select a channel, and configure the settings specific to that trigger. For an overview of different types of triggers, check out my webcast recording linked in the description. You can also try the shortcut and gallery features to help determine the type of trigger best suited to your needs. To the right is the sweep mode toggle and some other advanced settings. For example, you can adjust trigger hold off, coupling modes, or even tell the oscilloscope to perform functions like take a screenshot or send you an email when a trigger event is found. The benefit of these advanced trigger modes is you can selectively display waveforms with very specific criteria. If a single trigger can't define the waveform you're looking for, try enabling sequence mode. This creates a 2-stage trigger. The oscilloscope looks for an initial trigger condition, optionally waits for some defined delay period, and then looks for a second trigger condition before plotting any data. Now, if you have the InfiniiScan option enabled, an additional software stage is added to the hardware trigger setup, and there are some various InfiniiScan modes. Measurement mode triggers when certain measurement criteria are met. Zone Qualify lets you draw shapes across all different channels to act as a trigger, almost like a mask test. And Generic Serial lets you trigger on a series of zeros and ones, useful for protocol triggers that aren't natively supported. Finally, non-monotonic, edge, and runt modes let you search for events that are beyond the capabilities of the hardware trigger circuitry. Zone Qualify is definitely the most commonly used, and is perfect for when you can see certain waveforms on screen but can't figure out the right hardware trigger for it. Just draw a box with your finger and go. Finally, make sure to check out the rest of the series highlighting the new capabilities in our next generation platforms, linked in the description below.